Well, it's wonderful to be here today, the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, the day after the Indy 500. The day after we celebrated Pippa Mann driving a pink sports car named for Susan G. Komen. How exciting. And Pippa, thank you so much for agreeing to talk to me today. Just delighted to have you, and congratulations on a successful, wow, that was some race. How did you feel about it? Tell us. I'm just been so anxious to talk to you to hear how you felt. And thank you for hosting us and being part of us.
Oh, thank you so much. The pink Susan G. Komen Dale Quinn Racing Indy car yesterday, she was a great car to drive all day long from a racing point of view, and what a fantastic car to have out there from a fan's point of view too. Not only do we have a pink race car for little girls to cheer on, we have a car that's out there representing a cause, and that has your sister's name on it for breast cancer.
It's amazing. And I was thinking the other day, because I always think in numbers, because we see so many numbers of people. So 30 years ago, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. Some years before that, my sister died, 3 years before that. And there's been an entire generation now of difference. And what I'm so excited about with you doing this, two things really. You breaking through the motorsport racing world, you breaking into that important space. How was that breaking through in the world of motorsports? And tell us a little bit about how you got interested in doing this.
So I actually grew up a race fan, and I grew up watching races, watching Formula One races, cheering for a British driver called Nigel Mansell who drove in a car in a red 5, and there were no female drivers for me to cheer for in Europe growing up. I started racing in go-karts when I was 13, and when I was 17, somebody sent me a newspaper article about Sarah Fisher. Sarah Fisher is another female IndyCar driver. She's now a team owner, and she had just won pole and then the race, come second in the race at Kentucky Motor Speedway. And it was the first time I'd ever heard of another female driver doing so well in an open wheel car. That's when I started following IndyCar. Then, several years later, my career brought me to the United States, and I started racing in Indy Lights, the feeder category to IndyCar. In that series, I'm one of only 2 female race winners. I had 3 pole positions, one of which was actually here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. So at the moment, I'm the only woman in history to have done that in any form of class out here at this track, and that's a pretty neat little fact about me, and that gave me my break into IndyCar.
That is really amazing. And then when you went into that race yesterday, do you even think about that you're the only woman there, or are you thinking more like a racer?
At that moment in time, I'm definitely thinking like a racer. When I put my helmet on, it's me, my race car, my crew. And, all of the nerves finally start to go away from the rest of the day. And I'm definitely not thinking about the fact I'm the only girl out there. But sometimes it crosses my mind that, certainly I'm paying attention to who I'm racing, but then so is everyone else on track.
Well, and when we rode in the parade with you, you were gracious enough to ask us to ride in the parade. And it was really just astonishing to be there and to see the faces of the little girls, the little children watching you. And on their face was some recognition that, gosh, I could do this when I grow up. So there's that incredibly inspirational side of you.
And that's such an important part of this for me too. I spend a lot of my spare time when I'm outside of the cockpit working with younger female drivers and just sort of trying to help them in whatever way I can when they come to me for help. I try and spend as much time as I can with the fans. And even when I don't have time, I try and make time for the little girls and little boys who are out there.
Well, it really, really showed. And I guess the other thing that I wanted to say to you is that you've been very visionary in doing this, because this race car means something to you, not just because you're affiliated with now the cause of breast cancer. Probably forever you're going to carry the pink label, but you're visionary about the car itself.
Yeah, this car means so much to me. The fact that we were able to do this, to create this partnership at the Indianapolis 500 for our first event together, the biggest stage in all of IndyCar. And then, our joint vision for this partnership, the fact that this is not a one and done deal, the fact that the pink car is going to be coming back and back and back, and my sort of ideal, in a dream world, the thing that I envision happening for this pink car is that breast cancer survivors and women throughout the United States start to associate this pink IndyCar with IndyCar itself, with the Indy 500. They start tuning into races to see how it's doing. And if that could be a legacy that lives on long after I've retired driving and there's some other female driver who could come up through the ranks and start driving that pink car, that would be a pretty amazing legacy to leave behind me, both from a racing standpoint and from a Susan G. Komen breast cancer awareness standpoint.
Absolutely. It would be just an incredible legacy, and it already is. And also not to be left out of this equation. I did a lot of asking of questions and just listening yesterday, moving through your team and being down on the track and listening to them and watching how much regard they have for you. Because to do what you've done, yes, I'm sure it was about the interest in racing, but you're building a business. And so it's important that you have courage, you have integrity, and you have vision, and people trust you. And that kept coming through all the way, with everyone I talked to and listened to, because I thought, well, maybe I'd hear something odd or funny or gee. But the fact that you have the resilience you do, because how long was that race yesterday? It seemed like hours.
I think it was about a 3.5 hour race yesterday. So that's a little while to be strapped into a race car, but that's very normal for us here at the Indy 500. And the worst possible thing that can happen is when you're not strapped into the race car for 3 or 3.5 hours because your day ended early.
Well, and then when they cleared the track, wasn't that the first time that had happened, where there was that little accident and then they cleared the track and made all the cars get off and come back? And that has to be unnerving.
It is, but it's also not. The red flag was the right call to make because we had so much debris on the racetrack, and they wanted to get the track clean and give the fans a real opportunity to get some great racing through to the end of the race. So I applaud IndyCar for that decision. It's certainly not the first time they've done it near to the end for the race, and I think it was a great call to make.
I guess everyone wants to know what brought you really into our race together. What brought you into the realization that you could and indeed have made a difference in the world of breast cancer and patients and survivors?
For me, the really interesting and scary statistic is the one about 1 in 8 women in the U.S. will be diagnosed with breast cancer. Now, my family has been touched, as have most families, many families. And the scary thing is that makes us the rule, not the anomaly. And so when you really think about that, and it sinks in, and I think for me it sort of sunk in when I saw the statistic, but I guess it didn't, because the amount of survivors whom have come and found me in the garage area, whom have wanted to take a picture, to shake my hand, to get a signed card, to see the pink car, it's been very overwhelming and just sort of amazing and incredible. And I knew the 1 in 8 statistic. I knew we were the rule, not the anomaly, but still, so many survivors. It has been incredible.
Well, it has, and yesterday that was the other offshoot, is after the race when we were waiting for you to come out and take your bow with all of your supporters. I kept noticing the supporters were growing and growing. Some of them even a little bit timid because they didn't know what to say, but they were so in support of what you were doing. And in the parade, when we drove through the parade, people were cheering and clapping, and this will probably be a dawn of new involvement and engagement by women in motorsports.
I hope so, and that would be a really, really wonderful thing to be able to set in motion through the pink Susan G. Komen race car.
Well, we are so proud of you, and I just want to tell you that all that intense focus and resilience is paid off. For one, I'm a huge fan, and I know everyone at Komen is too. I don't usually get bowled over by people, but I'm totally bowled over by you. I just think at your age to have that kind of focus and the danger, when I saw them strap you into that car, it wasn't like an astronaut being strapped into the, space shuttle. And I thought, this woman is not only courageous, has integrity, knows how to build a business and a team, but she's got a lot of courage. She's very brave. So congratulations. You did a fabulous job, and we're just thrilled to be partnered with you.
Thank you so much. It really is my pleasure, and I'm very proud to be wearing pink.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Congratulations. Pippa Mann, a star.